welcome to Early Access. I'm Katie Whitlock. I'm here with Emma. Emma, it's nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
Of course. If you wouldn't mind, I actually don't know how you found Early Access. What made you want to come on the podcast?
I have just been devouring anything Enneagram, and I found Around the Circle, I don't know, a year plus ago. And so, of course, I found you, and I heard you on Kristen Messages podcast, and Suzanne Stabile interviewed you. So I think I've heard you maybe 3 times or so before Early Access. Yeah.
Fun. Was Kristen the one who, said, hey, you should go be on this one? Or was that just your own, no, I'm going to apply?
No, I'm going to apply. You said on one podcast with Jeff, we're looking for 6s, and I'm like, yes. I'm here to save the day.
Yeah, no, literally. Because here's the thing. 6s, actually, once I put that out, we had a lot of 6s. And now I've talked to we have some really good 6 interviews. 1s, weirdly, are hard to find. I don't know if it's like the perfectionism thing holding them back, like they're scared it's not going to be good. I don't know. And unsurprisingly, 7s are a little hard to find. I have my 1 7 friend that I roped into an interview. I was like, I'm going to give you this, meet me at this time. I'm going to interview you. Other than that, 7s have been a little hard to find. But 6s were hard to find at first. We kind of had to say, we want to talk to you.
I think they need to start offering Enneagram in early elementary school or something.
Yeah,
so you can
literally
start figuring it out.
I know. I have I'm interested. So I have a mom friend, and by that I mean she's a friend of my mother, and she was kind of a mother to me growing up. And she kind of works with high school students. I won't say what she does specifically, but she works with high school students, and I've thought of reaching out to her. She works with high achieving high school students, and I thought about reaching out to her and was like, hey, if any of your kids need another resume line, have them come talk to me on the podcast. Have them figure out their number and then come talk to me. Because I think it's so interesting the younger we go, you know what I mean? Talking to kids who are younger and younger about their Enneagram number. It's very interesting. But we're not here to talk to children. We're here to talk to you.
So. Well, I think of myself as 8-year-old Emma, so I'm a child.
How old are you?
35.
35, okay. Also, the other thing, the cutoff was 35. 35 counts, right? But the cutoff for this podcast, for this series is 35. And half the people I've interviewed are exactly 35. I don't know what it is about 35, but almost everybody is exactly 35.
I mean, if you had found me a couple of years ago when I found Enneagram, I would have been under the threshold. But yeah, you're just at the right time.
I know, it's hard to find. The other thing about interviewing young people is most young people are still really in their number and don't know it, right? That's just the thing.
There's nothing I can do
when you're in your
about
20s.
It.
Yeah, there's nothing I can do about it. Or because I think a lot of people pick up Enneagram in midlife because they get tired, or just I want to find the tools to do something different. And when you're in your 20s, you're not really tired yet. It's still working, on some level.
True. Or there's just for me in my language, it would be it was more high stakes, college and grades and not disappointing my parents and all those things where you're too caught up in the probably rumination to even have bandwidth for.
Yeah. That's a great point.
What is wrong with me and why am I crazy were the 2 kind of narratives that I had in my head for so long. It's heartbreaking, but yeah.
Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about yourself. The first thing I want to know, what did finally get you into the Enneagram then? Did you just stumble upon it?
Yeah, I was listening to We Can Do the Hard Things podcast, and they had Suzanne on. And I was like, this is so interesting. But immediately I had to go to my boyfriend afterward, and I was like, what do you think I am? I have no idea. And then I was trying to figure out what he was, and he had a pulse on both of us before I knew. And then I was like, oh yeah, I am the 6, but it had to come from somebody else.
Did he go through it and was like, oh, this is you for sure?
Well, he had more of a inquisitive tone, is this me? But also Emma prior in our relationship was not as forthcoming or truthful. And so maybe it's a reflection on I was getting in touch with myself and being true. And so he was able to tell me what I was.
Yeah. Interesting. What number is he?
3.
A 3. So you're on the line.
We are, and it's super interesting and a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun with him.
So you're the opposite. People will have heard me say this before, but my fiance is also on the line, but the opposite.
9.
So he's a 9. He's my stress number, and I'm his security number. And what I say, I'm interested to know if this is kind of true for you guys, but opposite. He is very, very comforting for me. And I think that I make him grow, but also am a little annoying sometimes. Because I'm his security number, like I pull him out of his comfort zone, in a way. He is not annoyed by me. If he was here, he would be mad that I said that. But I think it's a little like uncomfortable, right? To be pulled out of to be pulled into your security number. What do you see along the line between you and your boyfriend? What you guys do for each other?
I think there's honestly equal amounts of like comfort and stress in that push, because like he helps me like be a little bit more confident in myself, like channel that inner confidence, and like I can help him say, I think you're maxed out on capacity type thing, or like, how are you really feeling? Things that he doesn't like. After a therapy session that he has, I'm like, I want to know all the details. And he's like, I need time. And I'm just so disappointed it's not like instantaneous. But then I also think I offer like a safe space. And he offers that like achievement kind of space. It's interesting. But I think I haven't noticed one way like coming to my side is better versus going to his side.
Right.
If that makes sense.
It's all good. We have to learn how to exist in all spaces, right?
Yeah.
And no matter what, like we're always going to come back to home. Like no matter how much Jace teaches me about 9, I'm always going to come back to 3. Like we have to learn how to rest in our core number, I'm interested. So I have a lot of 9s in my life. My fiance and my sister are both 9s. I actually don't have a lot of 6s. I don't think I have any close friends or family who are 6s, which is interesting for me because they're my security number. And I think you can learn a lot by being in relationship with people who are your security number, right? And so I feel like as a 3, what I am missing because I don't have a 6 in my life is someone to model like taking care of a community without needing the recognition for it. I know that 6 is when you are stressed, you do need the recognition for it. But I think you are very, very good at, I want to get better and I want to bring everyone along with me, right? And that's hard for me as a 3. I want to get better and I don't want to bring people along with me because then that means that I'm not the best, right? And it's really, do you think that you have like, I guess my question is, do you think that you have given him any more of like a community-minded look at the world? Have you seen over the course of your relationship with him that he is better at thinking of other people because he's in a relationship with you?
So I'm pretty sure he's hardwired like social. So he's all about the team. And I tend to be more self-preserving. Like we have plenty of stories of how I left him in the gas station and I'm already back in the car and he's freaked out. So he does think of his people, but a collective maybe is a little bit harder for him to get to. He definitely has seen me, like I trap and neuter cats in my community, and having to like work with people to get something done is like so frustrating, but I'm compelled to do it. He doesn't pitch in there. Or like HOA type stuff in my neighborhood. So I think I think he sees it, but it's not necessarily like a go-to, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Talk more about feeling compelled to work with other people. I hear a little bit of like responsive stance in that, right?
Oh, 100%.
Like talk about, because I think that's a great point. like a difference between 6 and 3.
I'm like, how do you not
Sixes feel
feel
compelled.
compelled? Like,
I guess, like, what does that mean? Like,
it means
why?
like a boulder of what I think everybody is dealing with is like on me, and it's like I see it, I own it, that safety kind of
Mm-hmm.
phrase. It feels like I have no choice otherwise. Maybe it pops out. I have a lot of fear of regret. It's like a
Okay.
common thread. And so if I'm like afraid that I will regret it later for not doing something hard, for stretching a little more than normal, oh, that doesn't feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if it's that fear of regret, but it just feels so like all encompassing. Like I can't take it off. And another phrase that I've kind of come up with to describe my experience versus my boyfriend's experience is like, one time he told me he was anxious, and I said, what is that like for you?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, it's like I have 100 spinning plates, and I'm aware of all of them. They're all probably of similar size, but he can clearly see priority. And I'm like, okay, that's not like my experience. My experience is I have 100 spinning plates. One is in front of my face, and it's so huge I can't see anything else. It's all encompassing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no concept of priority. It's like in front of my face, so it's priority 1. That's the default.
Right. Right.
And I can't really juggle. I just kind of go from one thing that's in my face to another. So if there's like cats outside running loose and they need to get fixed, or there's babies, that's like right in my face. I can't look
Yeah.
away. And so it's that compulsion to get it out of my face and move on to the next one.
I interviewed a 6 the other day, and she said something which made so much sense to me, and it's so clear, but I just never heard someone say it about 6s. She said 6s are terrified of being wrong. And people say that about 1s, but she meant it in like a 6s are terrified of like making a mistake and then being like
Responsible.
ostracized, basically.
The wrong part for me is like if it's a relationship that's like super important to me, I might have a bit harder time, but I definitely sit on more of the I'm willing to apologize for anything wrong I did, and
Mm-hmm.
I think it's
Mm-hmm.
come up a lot like with my job where I am the one doing, and unfortunately you're kind of the man in the arena when it comes to doing. So like if I made a mistake, I'm sorry. So I feel like to me, it feels like I can get to repair faster to keep the relationship. Where if I didn't say I was sorry, then that like unspoken void is something I had in my childhood, I think, with a 9 mom, who I
Mm-hmm.
now realize in hindsight, like I wanted that constant pinging, like, are you okay? Are
Yeah.
you okay? Are you okay? And I didn't get that. So maybe I don't know, maybe it's the childhood experience kind of popping
Yeah.
out slightly differently, but I don't know. I don't think I have as much of the fear of being wrong.
Yeah.
It's like if I didn't do enough, that regret thing, that hits
Mm-hmm.
me harder.
She also was saying that, again, the difference between 6 and 1s, which I thought was interesting for 6s, and I think it makes 6s look so contradictory, which is like the whole thing with 6s, right?
Mm.
Like explaining 6s is so hard because anything I say about a 6, there's probably some other 6 out in the world that that's not true for, right? And so it's so hard to
I think the
create a good description of 6.
I think that non-negotiable that Joey Shui has, and
Mm-hmm.
of superfluous context and like ping-ponging, I think that like, well, this and that, or I mean, I want both, or paradox, like if anything, this living on a paradox fence feels like that might be universal. I'm not sure, but
Do you think so? Being a 6 and knowing what it feels like to be a 6. There's a lot of 6s out there who say that they are not afraid, right? That they
mm,
don't ping pong, that they don't, like, I know what I want to do and I'm going to do it. The rest of us can see that that's not true. Like, we see them second guessing themselves and questioning and checking in with people, but the 6 does not think that they do that. regardless, I don't know if you relate to that at all, like if you've ever done that in your life, but where do you think that comes from in a six? Like, what is the, this is one of the things that's hard for me when I'm talking to people who like I think are sixes,
Mm.
and I feel like I can't get them to recognize. Where does that come from?
It's a lack of sturdiness within. I think if you're not afraid of your, I mean, I will say I'm afraid right away. Or like
Right.
safety is the goal. Like I'll take the safer route driving a car. I'm not going to take the faster one or this, but I think there's just sort of a model or say like religion or some kind of cult where there are rules that aren't meant to be questioned. And so that gives you a level of uh, sturdiness. So maybe if you have those kind of structures in your life,
Yeah.
maybe there's slightly less ping ponging. And so, like, I'm not an active churchgoer. I'm not, like, I feel like my rule is as long as I think I'm a good person or I try to do good things. I realize that's subjective because I've seen some ones where I definitely don't fit their criteria of good. But I have that kind of sturdiness
Yeah.
as a compass. But yeah, maybe certain folks, if they have institutions in their life, it makes it look like they aren't afraid because they're
Right.
conforming there, would be
Yeah.
my
Someone
guess.
else has told them the rules. And so
Yes.
now that I have the rules, I don't need to be scared, right? Why would I be scared? I have the
Yes.
rules.
But if you ever get to that point where you're like questioning the rules, it's like super scary.
Yeah.
And maybe when they reach that point in their life, then go and look for a tool to tell them why they're not crazy.
Right. That's funny. I also wonder, like, I'm thinking of like really, really counterphobic sixes, you know what I mean? Maybe because they're so unstable in themselves, they have to like over create a sense of stability in themselves, even if it's a facade. You know what I mean?
Imagine a like void space. And as a responsive type person, there's nothing to like bang against. Like you
Mm-hmm.
have to hit somebody, you have to like go up against somebody to figure out what feels good, right? And so in a like you
Wow.
really are dependent on other people to figure out how you what you think or feel. I was going to say feel, but I don't know. Oftentimes I feel like Joey's other concept of independent feeling, responsive thinking, and solitary doing feels really
Mm-hmm.
true. Like, I'll be in a swarm in my head and I'm looking for thoughts that fit how I'm feeling, but my feelings won't change. I'll
Mm-hmm.
be transparent with them. They won't change. My thoughts definitely will change about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then oftentimes, even after like consulting the committee of friends and family, I oftentimes don't even close the loop on what I did because that's not
Yeah.
important.
No. Yeah, me neither. So, for anyone who doesn't know what Emma's talking about, Joey Shuey teaches that your lines are really, really, really important. So, the two numbers that you're connected to through a line, and that your doing, thinking, and feeling can be represented by the numbers that you are connected to that are in those triads. So for 3, 6, and 9, it's the easiest to see. Threes are an independent number, they're in the independent stance, and they're in the heart triad, so they're feelers. So anybody who has a line to 3 is an independent feeler, which she will say, just like Emma just said, your feelings are transparent. You'll tell people about them, but they cannot be influenced.
Mm.
And anybody who knows a 3, 7, or 8, you'll know they're transparent people, but they cannot be influenced. That's what independence is. Sixes are responsive thinkers. So 3, 6, and 9, everybody who has a line to 6 are responsive thinkers. And I absolutely see that in myself as well. Like people can change my mind pretty easily. I don't like to admit this about myself. But the other thing I think that responsive feeling is like who says it is really important to me. Like my mind will be changed faster if I think someone with authority is saying something, Whereas that's not really true for other people. That's baffling to me that that's not true for other people,
Or
but
a
that's
good
not true for
dose of
everybody.
logic, possibly.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And then nines are our line to doing. They are solitary doers, which is not transparent and cannot be influenced. And I do that same thing. So Jason and I wonder if this is true for your boyfriend as well. We'll go like days and days. And then like after a week, we'll update each other on like everything that has happened to us in the last week and like everything that we did. And it's all the doing stuff. It's all the like, oh yeah, I have this scheduled because I did this and this and this. And it also helps that we have opposite schedules so we don't see each other for like 4 days in a row. But it is so clear to me that we are solitary doers. Like we do not update each other. We update each other on what we feel and what we think all the time, but we do not update each other on what we're doing. Does that hold true for you guys? I wonder if it's different because you're a six.
I mean, yeah, there's always thoughts and sharing
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
play, but like say he comes over or we have this big plan to do something and he comes over and we don't do anything. We sit on the couch and talk. I'm like, we never
Yeah. Oh
do
yeah.
anything together. Like I don't like, so it really kind of is popping out sideways because we're just doing it separately, unless it's
Yeah.
I guess a team activity or something, you know, where you need another set of hands. But yeah, most of the time,
Yeah.
solitary doing.
Our friends will they kind of I mean, part of it is just, a consequence of my job and doing the Enneagram, but they kind of not make fun of us like they don't like it, but they'll kind of poke fun at us. They're like, "Do you guys just talk about your feelings all the time?" And the joke is like, "Yeah, we kind of do." And because I know the Enneagram, what I know is actually happening is we're talking about our thinking all the time. Like we're always sharing, what do you think about that? What do you think you should do about that? Or like, it's also feeling, how do you feel about that? Right? Like all this, and we can influence each other, right? Like we're interested in what the other person's thoughts are on that thing. And I'm thinking of our friends, like they're all pretty independent thinkers. And so I just don't think that their natural relationship dynamic is to like ask the other person what they've thought, right? They connect in a lot of beautiful ways and a lot of other ways.
Yeah,
But I think
maybe
that's
in
funny.
doing.
Really, in doing, I think they do. I'm thinking of one of our couple friends, especially, who I do think they connect in doing for sure. It's just fun. Isn't it funny how
It's funny
it
how
just,
the puzzle pieces fit
yes,
together and like when it works, it like really works.
yes.
I have a couple funny stories. Just in like when we first met, he's a
How long
divorced.
have y'all been together?
We met during COVID, so 5
Okay,
years.
okay, go ahead.
Yeah, in the beginning, I was like, did we even know each other back
I
then?
know.
I was like, we didn't talk about anything. I was
Yeah.
projecting up the wazoo, and he must have thought I was psycho, projecting again. But yeah, like, so he's divorced. He has a kid, and there will be some moments now with the Enneagram where he'll tell me, well, I used such and such thinking with his ex-wife and his kid, and it was like a really bonding experience. And I'm like, oh, I got to be a part of that.
Yeah.
And then I told him, I'm like sad that we won't have that. It's just a feeling. And I realized like I'm wearing the feeling temporarily, even though it comes across as like, oh no, I want kids right now. So his brain was
Mm-hmm.
like, well, I have to move in and we got to get married and we got to do
Mm-hmm.
this. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm just like, no logistics here. I'm thinking what it would be like to have that feeling, but I
Yeah.
don't actually, like, we're not executing
Yeah. I'm
on
just
this
verbally
plan.
processing it. Yeah.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
that's been kind of like life changing because totally different processes. And it's just like a wave that comes and then it's gone, right? Like once you've
Mm-hmm.
felt it, if you resist it, then it becomes like something to hold on to or like something to fix. And it didn't need any fixing at all.
So, okay, while we're talking about personal life, I skipped the whole beginning of your life. We got into other stuff. And you actually also speaking of stories, you have a really good story about when you were young and you came to the United States by yourself. So tell us about where you were born, kind of the first half of your life, and then I'd like to hear that femur story that you told me about.
Yeah, sure. So I was born in Fort Worth, Texas, and I went to Saudi Arabia as a kid. My dad worked for Aramco for 20 plus years, and my grandfather too, so my mom grew up there. It's like a family affair. On one of our trips home, my brother right under me, we share the same parents, and so we were going to visit my biological dad. And while there, I had an ATV accident and I broke my femur.
Oh my
And
gosh.
he took me to the hospital, and they were
Your
asking,
brother
like,
did?
my dad
Oh.
took me to the hospital. I was probably 15 at the time. And they're saying, what's your social security number? Where's your insurance? And I'm just like, what are these things? Like, we don't have any of this. Everything is
Yeah.
just like, you're on a compound. It's all taken care of. I was just the girl in like a giant bubble.
Yeah.
And that was like my wake up call. And I was like, okay, from then on, I'm going to be prepared. We're going to know what to do, what all this stuff is. And yeah, I mean, looking back, that feels like a very kind of pivotal moment of where all the preparedness comes from.
Do you think so? The reason I wanted to ask you this is because I think this is a really interesting debate in the Enneagram community, and we're never going to have the answer, right? But I'm just interested to hear your thoughts. Speaking of responsive thinking, do you think that's where your preparedness came from? Or do you think that's just one of the first times that you remember it so prominently? Right? And I'm asking about the nature versus nurture thing. Like, were
For
you
sure.
born as a six and that's just one of the first times you see it coming up in your life? Or did that event make you a six?
I think it was there always brewing. I know the responsiveness was there at least, right? Like I had a mom who, like I remember distinct moments like getting makeup for my mom, but there was like no, how do I use this? And I was afraid to ask. And so there was a lot of like, does she love me? It just
Yeah.
goes bad
Yeah.
really quick, that
Yeah.
jumping to conclusions.
The chaining and the multi-scenario planning and all
Yeah.
the stuff. This must mean that and that must mean that. And
I think my realm of safety was probably much larger. And so maybe like skepticism or like the vigilance started kind of creeping in, but I think all the ingredients were kind of there
yeah.
to
Tell me a little bit more. You said you lived like on a compound in Saudi Arabia. What does that mean? What does that look like?
it's kind of like a military base. You
Okay.
have school, commissary, grocery store, post office, jobs, everything is there. And so commute is nothing. I mean, we had buses pick us up, take us to school. We'd come home for lunch, go back to school. Like it was all just like everything is there. Everything was super safe. It was actually when we would come back to the States to visit, my mom would be like, somebody's going to steal you. So, watch out.
Yeah.
But in
You
Saudi,
were
it
like, got
was,
it.
I could run around and do whatever I wanted. Everything was perfectly fine. Yeah, it's just, I'm definitely recreating that kind of experience, which I know I do often. It's a common theme of like, I want to be close to work. I don't want to commute. There's certain like things from my childhood that I put like a really high, like I need to be able to achieve that kind of thing. So I'm recreating good, safe spaces. I guess things that are important to me. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
theme.
So let's talk about, you just mentioned achievement. Can you talk to me a little bit about what the need to achieve feels like as a six? Because there's a lot of sixes who kind of live in their stress number of three, right? Think they're a three because they're really high achievers. But can you talk a little bit about maybe, especially because you live with an actual three, like the difference you see in your high achieving versus his high achieving and where the different, like where the motivation is different?
I mean, I'm going to kind of joke about it
Yeah, go ahead.
with a story. So, because like I fall asleep to the hard things that I've done oftentimes, right? Like I've forgotten already, like what I did in a previous job, like what were my achievements. It was really like what higher purpose I'm serving, what's the vision, and as long as I'm going in that direction, like I'm doing good, like I'm safe. The example I have is I was at my boyfriend's house, and his house is very minimalistic, super clean, and then I come to my house and it's all, dark and cluttered, and I immediately started cleaning, and I realized I wasn't cleaning to like check items off the list. It was all about how do I feel in the space, and like I'm done when I feel less anxious. So if he's asking me, "Hey, how can I pitch in? Like where's the checklist?" I'm like, "There is no checklist. I just go from room to room and move things until it feels just right." Like it's
Yeah.
until my just right-o-meter is good. And it's
Yeah.
super subjective, but yeah, achievement is not a like number I'm chasing. It's where I feel just right.
Do you, the answer to this might be no. Do you think that someone else can give a 6 an achievement that they should go for too? Because I think threes, it all comes from us. Like what we want
Yes.
to achieve and what we're doing comes from us, you know? But
Um,
a 6, I feel like you mentioned this higher goal, right? So do you think it, like the achievement that a 6 is talking about, can ever come from someone else? Like if they actually dug into it, it came from someone else told them that they should want to achieve this thing?
yeah, most likely. So at my previous job, my boss and like mentor was a 1. And I kind of know this in hindsight. I wish I had known sooner. And like he was always big vision and doing all the time. And I felt like all those achievements or objectives were kind of like his. And like if I didn't do what needed to be done, then it would probably look bad on him versus myself, kind of thing. Like I'm letting him down.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I also care how I'm perceived, but it felt more like I can't ruin this relationship. So yeah, I think you're right. It's not something that I inherently know what it is.
Yeah.
It has to just feel right. I can't describe it any better than that, I think.
I wonder, I know you just said you can't describe it any better.
No, try me more. I want
I
to.
I I want you to though. Like what you said, you come home and you clean until you're not anxious anymore, right? Did you tell me what you were actually anxious about?
No, and it's not something that I'm normally aware of. I think with coaching, I am more aware. Like I can be like, "Oh, I'm really like clenched everywhere," or "I'm actually hungry, let me eat," and then I'll
Right.
reevaluate. So I don't think I really am. There has to be logic, like there has to be productive thinking on board to get there, because I don't really know it otherwise. I just see it in the like frantic kind of energy of like trying to get everything back to just right again. So sorry, the achievement part, there's really not an it's subjective. There's no objectivity to it from what I can tell. So there's no number that I'm chasing. I'm not trying to get like close a certain number. Like I'm just not trying to hit timeline targets. I just need to feel comfortable with what I'm doing. No regrets, like feeling good
Yeah.
about it. Make
Sorry,
feelings
Mike.
objective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I'm also hearing, so this is one of those things that's just like with 6s, it just is like that. Like when I teach about 6s, I say this was given to me by somebody. I think it was a 6. I forget who told me this, but there's this disconnection between like this inner sense of trust in yourself. You just can't stand on your own 2 feet within yourself, right? And just know what you want or know what you should do next or all the things, right? There's just, I love that you use this empty void. There's just like nothing. I have to again ping pong against someone else to figure out what I want, right?
I mean, It's just like the game. What is the game where you go back and forth and you're Viz breaker or something? Like you're trying to break like
Yeah.
that game is fundamentally tied to the fact that you have to hit off something.
I think I'm trying to get you to explain the emptiness. That sounds really sad. I don't mean it in a sad way, but just the like, there is this something in sixes that I hear sixes talk about, and I keep wanting them to explain it. Like, what do you mean you don't know what you need? Right? What do you mean you don't know what's next? What do you mean someone else can tell you what to do? Maybe that's because I'm a 3 talking to a 6.
I
But
mean,
there's just this like ambiguous thing that sixes talk about, and I want someone to like define it for me, and I don't. Maybe that's the whole thing, is that it's never going to get defined, right? That's the whole problem. I don't know.
when productive thinking is not on board and I'm stressed, there's like whirling thoughts. I am actively calling the committee. I don't listen to the committee most of the time. If we were to look at my stats, they'd be really bad. um and it's just like a whole bunch of like ruminating. There's no
Mm-hmm.
logic on board. And if somebody tries to serve you logic when you're not really ready to receive it, like it's just I there's nothing there.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't get any satisfaction necessarily of shooting for things unless like I feel like I put in a lot of work or like I felt satisfied. But to like tie it to a number feels like it's just not there. It's kind of
Yeah.
empty.
No, that makes sense for me.
So
Because it's not logical, there can't be a logical answer to it. I'm just done when I know I'm done. Right?
yeah,
I'll just feel better.
I remember my boyfriend and I were painting his shed a couple of years ago, and he whips out. We both took half. We both took half of the shed to paint. I come out with my like little handheld bucket and my magnet like brush and
Yeah.
mini 4-inch roller, and he comes out with the 18-inch. I'm gonna get this done.
4-inch roller.
Yeah, 4-inch. Like I localized,
Yeah.
and I beat him by probably 30 or 45 minutes, and I think he was crushed inside. Like, my trusty 18-inch roller is supposed to get the job done. And I was just like, this is great. Like, I mean, I did win, but we got to do something together.
Yeah.
And like the achievement was probably doing it as fast as you can and beating him, but that really wasn't the objective, you know?
Yeah. Was because when as a 3, I'm listening to that and I'm like, I bet his goal was efficiency. Like, this
Oh,
is the
100%.
fastest way to do
18-inch.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Like, of course, I'm going to get the biggest one because that means it'll go fastest. Was that on your radar at all? Were
Oh,
you
I
like worried
100% knew
about?
it. I knew that that's what he was doing with the roller, and
Is that what you were doing? Like, as
for
a 6, was
oh
efficiency on
no,
your radar? You know what I
no,
mean?
I'm just like I'm perfect. I'm not gonna get dirty. It's all localized. Like I'm gonna be just this is gonna be therapeutic, and that's it. It was all just it felt good. But the 18-inch
Yeah.
one, you're gonna drip everywhere. The mess drives me crazy. Like that would have put me in a I don't like these. I don't want to have to worry about something. So I like my little solution. It's tried, I've done it before. Once I find out what works, I go back to it over and over again. If I like a meal at a restaurant, I'm going to keep ordering it over and over and over again because I don't want to be disappointed. It's,
Yeah.
yeah, it feels just right. It's like Goldilocks. And the only way you have a
Yeah.
Goldilocks is because you're comparing. It's either too hot or it's too cold. And that's the bumping up against other people or things, right? To
Yes. Oh my
know that
gosh.
you're
Great
right in the
metaphor.
middle. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. She didn't know what was perfect until she tried something too
Hot.
small and too big.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That okay, I'm using that forever now. That was great. I think that's great. And I'm just going to connect all the dots for myself. That comes from because there's this disconnect in you that you can't just, in a six, that they can't just know all by themselves, right? They can't just stand on their own 2 feet in themselves. They have to see something that's too small or too cold and too big and too hot. Like they have to check it against those things.
Could
They can't,
you,
like if you get the perfect thing first, you don't know it's perfect until you've seen the other two.
yeah, could you go and buy a car without actually trying it and like making sure it
Yes.
it checks? Yeah, I don't think I gotta like I have wasted so much money and like, well, let's try this. Oh, it didn't work out. Let me try something
Yeah.
else. Like I have to like
Yeah.
actually use it and see it. Like, is it sustainable? I don't know that right away.
To be fair though, I have an example that just happened to me. Like sometime like when I was like, yes, I could do that. The thing is, I think I could do that, right? I would just get a
You
ch and I'd
manifest
be like,
it.
yeah,
It's
like it checks all
perfect.
the boxes. Like, why wouldn't it be good? Sometimes it is worth comparing, right? So I just started running. Speaking of goals, I decided I want to run a half marathon. So I started running. Jace, my fiance, is a collegiate runner. Okay, so he knows what he's doing. So he's like, you need to get some actual running shoes, right? And my mom was like, you need to get actual running shoes. And so we went to Fleet Feet and they scanned my feet and we tried on like 3 different ones, but I couldn't like really tell the difference between them because I'm new and like they were like, oh, this one has soft foam and this one doesn't. I'm like, okay. Like it feels a little different, but I don't know. But I was like, these ones. Like you say they're the best. I don't really care. I'm tired of trying stuff on. Like sure, that looks like the best. And actually what's we're finding out is that I think they're too soft and they're like really hurting my legs. Like I've had to stop running until I get more shoes because they're too soft, I think. And if I had taken the time at Fleet Feet to like actually run around in them and like walk around in them and have them on my feet for longer than 15 seconds and like if I had done a little more sick stuff then I wouldn't have, I mean they were $100, right? Like now I'm gonna have to go buy another one. I know a six also probably wouldn't have been able to make the decision like in the store that day, but I just went too fast. So anyway, my point is that there's a balance. There's a balance to be had, right?
For sure.
Threes, I think that we have the right answer all the time. And we just when we discover that we don't, we just pivot quietly and we don't tell anyone.
Or you're like, I gotta somehow. I'll use this phrase with Greg is he's a pro at making lemonade out of lemons. Like
Yeah.
that projecting positivity
Yeah.
somehow, it's always a success.
Yeah. And we look good,
Yep.
right? It never like I'm not gonna exist in this situation that makes me look bad. I'll figure out a way to make it look good. Anyway, pros and cons. Okay, you say that you do some coaching with Kristen. For anyone who doesn't know, Kristen is what is her like business called?
Kristen Messagey coaching, but
Okay,
her coaching is 0 to 60.
0 to 60. So for anyone who doesn't know, Kristen Messagey does coaching with six. She's a six and she only coaches sixes, which I think is fascinating. And Emma, you have done some coaching with her. So I would be fascinated to talk a little bit about, you kind of mentioned like life pre-Enneagram and post-Enneagram, and then also mostly like life pre-coaching and post-coaching and the strategies that Kristen has helped you with. Like if any other sixes are listening, right? Like what do you think has been the most helpful for you throughout this coaching process with Kristen?
I think the best part is the community and like first off knowing you're not alone. But then the repetitive nature of like you could get the tools and technically be okay, but in practice like you have to be reminded every time. It's like 51 first dates. I have to literally be reminded every day. I do have tools and I know how to use them and I'm getting better at, you know, closing the loop sooner or like noticing, oh, I feel tight or I feel hungry or whatever the case may be, or I need to go for a walk and then reevaluate. Like, don't make a decision now. Something doesn't feel just right. Go get regulated and then come back again. But she calls those pattern interrupts. Anything that's like physical, anything to get you out of your brain, your like tornado spinny mind. Yeah. And oftentimes if you like leave and come back, it tends to feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do you think that's helpful because like other numbers you could give them tools and they would be like, okay, thanks, bye, I'll go use these. Right? But sixes, I keep coming back to this like the void metaphor that you used. But sixes need to be reminded, you just said it, but that they have the tools. Like the actual, like the coaching for sixes is, hey, you already have that. Remember? Like you already have it.
But
We
sometimes,
talked about it.
even though I think sometimes I feel like, oh man, I didn't need to actually have a one-on-one with her. Like I could have figured this out. But sometimes I'll go in and say, I need a word. I need a word that will stick. And nothing's sticking right now. And like one time I was ruminating on something and she's like, well, why don't you just put it in the closet? And I was like, I don't want to put it in the closet. I want to put it on the shelf. And like that felt like I could just be done with it. Like it's on the shelf. I can see it if I want to see it. In the closet, it felt hidden. But it's like,
what does that mean, put it on the shelf versus put it in the closet?
yeah. So putting it in the closet feels like it's something I'm never going to revisit again. Because if I can't see it, that plate in front of my face, like it's no longer an option for me. And I want to still be able to like see it every once in a while and be reminded that it's still an option. So for whatever reason, these words made they stuck different, right? To me, one was like, oh, well, I don't want that, but I'm better with this other option. Like it's words really matter. And if you think of words or feelings like an outfit, you can just go and put a different outfit on and see how you feel. Words and feelings are really the same. So you don't have to keep doing the same pattern all over again. Putting the same clothes on that make you feel bad, like change it up.
Yeah. I see this when I teach classes. I see this in sixes a lot. Like I'll say, the vice for a six is fear, right? Which is true. That's like the word that people use. Or the head triad is connected to fear. And I actually see this in all head triad numbers, but especially sixes. I also have to say the word anxiety or doubt or second guessing or like all these other iterations of fear. What it is at the core is it's fear, right? But I have to give very specific words because sixes want, I don't think this is like a bad, I hope I'm not framing this as like a bad thing. I just think it's really interesting about sixes. They want the very specific word and maybe it's because it's not going to stick otherwise.
Well, so I think you're afraid of fear. So like fear is the thing I'm subconsciously like not willing to touch.
Yeah.
My language would have been like, I worry a lot. I actually never used anxious or anxiety. I never related to it. I'm like, all these other people use this word. I'm like, I don't know. It wasn't on my radar. Mine was worry a lot, obsessively, about everything. A new thing from coaching is that worry is basically the absence of trust. So like I just went on a work trip. My mom watched my animals in my house for me. And I forget that I have a house, that I have animals when she watches them. There's like 100% trust there and there's no worry. But if I don't have it, I will worry. It's like, there's like this, like a shading, like are you 100% opaque or fully transparent? Like it's kind of working towards how can I be more trusting in all the ways with other people or with myself. Because when I can't share boundaries, that's because I also can't trust that everything will be okay.
I think that's fascinating. Okay, this is my last question that I ask everybody. So you said you're 35. If you could go back 10 years and you're 25 and you could talk to yourself at 25, what would you tell her?
You're not crazy. You make sense, and you'll be okay.
Giving her some trust in herself.
Yeah, those are all things that coaching has soothed a lot.
Do you feel, so I normally end it there, but do you feel crazy? Like, did you feel crazy when you were younger?
I mean, just like 5-10 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
roller coasters of emotions with like a one. As that mentor boss, like I could start a day out great and end it crying, like over and over and over again. Or imagine Emma in hurricane season, where I strip the patio down, take the fan, I disassemble my whole house, or like the lengths I go to control everything, and I don't see it in anybody else. I'm like, am I crazy? Like, why can't I find somebody else like me? That's where I think the crazy. Where like when the emotions get too, like I'm getting tossed around by emotions, and I'm like, what is happening? Because I'm totally oblivious to them. Because they're dressed up in thought. Like if you were to see Emma pre-coaching, it would have been like, Kristen would say, well, how do you feel about this? And I'd serve up a whole bunch of thoughts. And only now can I say what I'm feeling, or I can describe the experience. And that's also a way, like a pattern interrupt, to say, like, how am I feeling in my body? That's not something I normally do. So changing the default.
Well, I think that's great. Thank you, Emma, for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
This was lovely, absolutely.
Hey friends, it's Jeff. We're going to interview some of the most intriguing people in the Enneagram world. There are already 20 plus interviews up at aroundthecircle.org, and we're continuing to add more. That site is where we're gathering and platforming all of our best work. Much of it is available for free. Katie Whitlock and I have been doing deep studies working through wings, stance, fear, anger, and shame in our Rewired series. I'm beginning to release chapters from my next Enneagram book, which I'm calling The Steps, for early review for your consideration. And we have monthly online workshops in which 30 or so folks gather to talk about their type. There's audiobooks, there's videos, there's lots of fun stuff, lots to like. Go to aroundthecircle.org, and may all good things be yours.